Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. It is once again time for a shop tour, and we are getting right down to the end of summer. Here we are, our last day in August. So looking forward to turning the page. And as you can see here on the calendar, it is all about the runoffs because 'tis the season for getting ready for the runoffs and getting ready to go. So we are right at 3 weeks from leaving for the runoffs. So a few more things to do, but I actually had a really good week when it comes to motors. Had a couple get done and shipped out. And then I've got, so this is actually, it's kind of a conglomeration. It's a brand new bottom end, new pistons, new crankshaft, things like that. But you can see the cylinder head still has carbon in the exhaust port, so it's a used cylinder head, but this is actually Don Tucker's #2 spare E-Production Miata for the runoff. So I'm going to get this one finished up, put it in the box, and then transport it. Actually, shout out to Bill Hingston. I talked to him yesterday, and he's coming by right before the runoffs, and he's going to do me a solid and put this in his trailer because I'm taking so much stuff for guys that I just don't have any more room. So, but these are really cool. I know we've probably talked about these before. You can see it's a dry sump oil pan. This is one of these daily dry sumps, which the dry sump pump bolts directly onto the oil pan over here on this side. And so it's a really slick setup. The scavenging, there's no hoses coming off the pan. It's just a direct bolt on. So a really, really nice dry sump setup. So I'm just about done with it for what I'm having to do on assembly, and we will move down the road. So looking good on that. Did finally get the gear set in for this transmission. I know this thing's been sitting here for seems like 3 weeks. But got the brand new all the gears. Still have everything clean and ready to go. This will be gone through. This will be finished and done by the time we do next week's shop tour. So take one last look because that's the end of it. Finally got in the radiator for the blue car, and the supercharger fluid will be here today. As it turns out, that Rotrex supercharger fluid is not that easy to come by, but I'm hoping later today to get this radiator actually in the car. So when the fluid shows up, we can get it finalized, no more leaks, and get ready to do our dyno tuning. So like I said last week, got a couple break-in sessions on it, looking good. Did get a new car into dyno for a guy, new customer out of Kansas City. Not someone that I knew, but this is a time trials Miata. So it's got a stock Miata engine in it. And he's running on E85, and as you can see, it's got a big wing and a big front spoiler, but pretty stock underneath, I think. I'm sure it's got some nice shocks and things like that on it, but it's just here to get tuned. It's got a Mega Squirt 3 on it, so I told him I didn't know if I was going to get this done before the runoffs, but to drop it off, and I would get to it while I can, and of course, as always, I'll get it done before the runoffs. I'll squeeze it in. We're starting to get some really nice mornings as far as weather goes. So I've been jumping on the dyno first thing. So I'll probably get this done in the next couple weeks, odds are. So, and in the meantime, of course, another pallet full of differentials. So this is like a redo times 50. 3 more differentials to build for my favorite Miata company, which if you've been watching any of these, you know I do a ton of them. Something I wanted to talk about today, so this goes along with runoffs prep. This is my Honda 2000 generator, and as you can see from the cover, this thing has been rode around in the trailer for years and years. And these things, if you don't know about these Honda generators, I'm a big fan of them, not only because they're Hondas and they're reliable, but they are super, super quiet. But every year I do a general maintenance on it, and there's a couple things I wanted to point out. You can get, and I just ordered this on Amazon, so it's like the pre-filter and the air filter and a spark plug on Amazon. It was like $16. So this goes down to just take care of your stuff and change your oil, and it'll take care of you. But one of the cool things I came up with on this generator from this company called GenWorks is this is a dipstick and a magnet all in one. So it's got this tiny little magnet on the end, and you can see it's got just a tiny little piece on it. And so these just come with little plastic dipsticks. But the other cool thing that this kit comes with is this little funnel. I don't think the oil's going to come out of here. Maybe I'll put this in just for a second. Anyway, this screws right in and replaces the placement of the dipstick, but it also comes with this cool thing that screws right in place, and it's just a little funnel. So what I do is you warm it up, you take your dipstick out, you screw this in, and you literally just tip it out. And these things only hold a half a quart of oil. So I use this AMSOIL small engine oil, 10W30, and it's, as you can see, that's how much oil I put in. There's a half quart left. I do this once a year. Maintain your stuff, guys, and it'll take care of you. This little generator goes with me to the racetrack and powers my entire trailer, which powers all the lights, powers my battery chargers, because as you know, we run these total loss systems. And yeah, don't just think about your race car when it comes time to go to the racetrack and getting ready for the runoffs. You need to think about your equipment that you're going to take. And if this lets you down at the track, you're going to be super frustrated, which just puts you in a bad mindset. And none of that helps you as a race car driver. So there's our tip of the day. Nothing really happening on the Mazda 2. I actually did, and I didn't realize this was going on, but there is a huge shortage of AIM dashes right now. But another shout out to Todd Burris, who helped me find an AIM dash for the car that I'm going to be installing. So we've got an AIM dash coming for the car, got a Smarty Cam. Louis Bustani is helping me with that stuff, and those guys are kind of getting me everything that I need for the Mazda, because that's kind of been my 15 minutes a day. In the meantime, of course, I'm starting to mount tires. So one of my pet peeves when it comes to mounting and balancing wheels and tires is, guys, and I know when you get this done at the racetrack requires you to remove all the wheel weights and you know, get the wheels cleaned up. So what I like to do, and it literally takes me about one morning, you know, one of my 15 minutes a day, every day, because it takes about 15 minutes, but I will literally go through, you can see this is a brand new tire. I've got one done over the last week because I've been fiddling with other stuff, but I go through and get all of the old glue from the stick-on weights completely out of the wheel. Now, it's probably, and it is not the best thing for the finish of your wheel, but I use brake clean, and once I get the wheel weight off, I let the brake clean literally soak on that piece of, if you guys have ever taken a stick-on wheel weight off, you know it leaves goo, nastiness, the backing behind the lead weight. I literally tip the wheel up slightly, and I soak that nastiness, and then if you let it sit for like 5 minutes, it comes right off. Odds are it's probably going to pull off a little bit of the finish of your wheel. I personally don't care about the inside of the wheel because I never put weights on the outside of the wheel anyway. They always go on the inside. So pre-warning, it will probably screw up the finish of the inside of your wheel, but at least then you will have a really clean wheel, and whoever you're taking your wheels to get mounted and balanced will love you for it. So that's where we're at. I've still got 3 weeks to do 3 more tires, so odds are I can get that done in 3 weeks. Now, if you guys have been watching shop tours this year, you remember back in, it was probably March, and I had this beautiful brand new Spec Miata that DJ and his son Hayden built, and it had no stickers on it, and we had just built a brand new engine. It was a brand new car. They've had a great year with it. But what did I say when I showed you that car? Beautiful car. We'll see how long it lasts that way, because in Spec Miata, as most of you probably know, a little bit of rubbing happens. But further proof, come join me. So when you're running in Spec Miata, you're going to do some rubbing. You see the front of the car? You got broken paint here from bump drafting. You've got rubs all the way around the car. You've got, I kind of like their Band-Aid that they stuck on the back here, but you can see that this corner got beat in pretty good at some point this season. The bumper's got a big hole in it, although I don't know. So these guys are getting ready to go to the NASA Nationals, I don't know that they're going to let a car that's got a big hole in the bumper run or not. I don't know. Probably not. So I'll mention that to DJ when they come pick it up. This side doesn't look too bad. This is the good side. It's like Days of Thunder. Hey, look, the one side we didn't have to fix. I don't want you getting lazy, Vern. Or I don't even remember what the guy's name was. But he kicked in the door so they could fix it anyway. Car still looks good. Now what it looks like is a proper Spec Miata. So just finished dynoing. Haven't quite pulled it off the dyno yet. Motor's running beautiful. Made it all season. Still running good. Still making good power. And so we'll get this finished up. And I think NASA Nationals are coming up in like this weekend maybe? Next week? I know it's super. I don't pay a ton of attention to the NASA racing, but I know their nationals are at Pit Race in Pennsylvania, which I've been there a couple of years ago. An awesome racetrack. I know that any of you guys that are going to the NASA Nationals, if you're thinking about it and you've never been to Pit Race, do it, because I think it's an amazing track. So this will be the first time that these guys have been there. And you can see Hayden's got his Teen Mazda Challenge. Mazda does this through the NASA Racing Series, and it's obviously for teenagers, and it gives them an opportunity, if they do really well, to get to go to the Mazda Shootout and try and win your opportunity for an MX-5 Cup ride. So that's what they're working on here. Obviously, we needed to make sure that the car was tuned up, because in Spec Miata, every horsepower makes a difference. And so the motor's looking good and car's running good, and we'll get them moving down the road. So that's kind of where we're at this week. I'm going to finish up Don's motor. I've got then 2 more engines to complete before the runoffs. Fortunately, they are both #2 engines, spare motors for a couple of Honda guys. So no more engines to go out that are actually going into cars. Got Mason shipped out last week, and then I'm going to visit him in Columbus end of next week. So we'll just barely get the shop tour done next week, and then I'm going to fly out and we're going to do some dynoing next week for him. And then I've got a couple guys coming to dyno, obviously, before the runoffs still. So we're looking good. I'm feeling pretty confident about getting everything done here in the next 3 weeks. So more maintenance to do, more prep to do. But that's where we're at for the week, guys. I appreciate you watching. And as always, have a great rest of your week. Feel free to comment about anything that you see, hear, whatever. And I'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon.